Hi YouTube Live. This is Masa. Every day I keep thinking about the marriage system on YouTube Live and Instagram Live. Today's episode is Hi Tamuhi. Hi, today's episode is what's today's episode? Sorry. With the all or nothing marriage, I think about today's marriage. Preface, Panic in Evanston. Okay, so today is the English day, and I use a book called The All or Nothing Marriage. The All or Nothing Marriage. Written by just a sec. Written by Eli J. Finkel. Irie-san, お久しぶりです。Today's English day. Hi, Irie. So I keep live streaming about the marriage system. Not live stream. Keep thinking about. I keep live streaming about my thought process about the marriage system every day. English. Today's English day. 明日は日本語でやります。アイリさん元気ですかね？アイリさんクラブハウスにいないんですか？そういえば。クラブハウスで、ね、今度セッションみたいな部屋もあるんで、ぜひ。Hi, JHKITK? JHKITK? Hi. Okay, cool. So I've already read the preface of the book. Preface is called The Panic in Evanston. What was Panic in Evanston anyway? So the Evanston is where the university of the author, where the university which the author, so the author is a professor at the Northwestern University, and the Northwestern University is in Evanston, the U.S. Evanston, the U.S. So that's why, yeah, the chapter title, preface title is called "Panic in Evanston." Okay, that's fine. So I have already read the preface, so I will talk about what the preface is about and my impression about the preface, the very, very first chapter of the book. So Evanston is a city in Illinois. That's fine. That's not the point. Illinois. Sorry, I always mispronouncing the state's name. クラブハウスいます。ぜひ ID 教えてください。DM でいいんで。秘密だったら DM で教えてください。僕はこの同じ ID でやってます。インスタグラムと柿の木マサドっていう ID でやってるのでよろしくお願いします。Hi, Chingram. Chingram? Hi, Chingram. Cool. So I will quickly go through the preface of the book called The All or Nothing Marriage. The book is about the book is basically okay, let's talk about what the book is about. So book is about why today's best marriage is much better than any marital culture in the past. And the author states the best marriages today are better than best marriages in the past, and average marriages of today is worse than the average marriages in the past. So it doesn't make sense just by saying that, but that's the old book about. Okay, let me clarify this again. しんすけさん、さとみさん、こんばんは。Today's English Day. 明日また日本語でやります。So this is like a today. This is today. This part? Maybe this is better. So this is today. Today. This is the past. So this is human history. And this is today. Doesn't make sense. Let's see the YouTube as well. This the is let's say this is today. Let's say this is the past. And let's say there are best marches of today, and let's say there's the best marches in the human history. So the author says the best marches of today is much better than the best marches in the past. And if we compare the average marches of today with the average marches in the past, the average marches of today is worse than the average marches in human history. So that's what author said through this whole book. But I haven't read whole book. I only read the preface, so I don't know what it really means yet. But let's dive into the preface. So initially, the author's like proposition was quite different. The author's hypothesis was quite different. The author, the author believed. Uh, okay, let's quote this. The author used to believe, the diverse forces had increasingly freighted marriage in America over time, piling so much expectations and responsibility on this one relationship that it threatened to buckle under strain. So, in simple words, what also used to think was we expect too much on our marriage today. We put so much responsibility on marriage today. That was the author's hypothesis, but he realized after quick research into the marriage history, he realized his hypothesis was wrong. So that's the beginning of the book. Okay. Hypothesis. Okay. So his hypothesis was like, let's say I'm Japanese, but Americans or maybe Japanese as well. What the author believed was what we look to our spouse is to be our best friend, closest confidant, and provide like sizzling sex partner and help us grow as individuals. So by counting these factors, the author misunderstood we expect too much on today's marriage. So that was the author's hypothesis, but he believed he was wrong. あ、横潤さんお久しぶりです。And hi Jess, thanks for coming. Confident person that you trust and who you talk to about private or secret things. Confident. Confident. Okay, I didn't know this word. Anyway, so what he realized was this. Actually, like during the colonial era of the USA, so colonial era, so when like the first in the very beginning, the first part of the American history, people looked to their marriage and to the broader familial alliances linked to it for things like three crucial things: food production, shelter, and healthcare. So both are critically related to their life. And so marriage was crucial to survive in the colonial era of the US. So compared to this like connection between marriage and the life, the author realized we expect much less for marriage today compared to the past. So that's the author's like main point.ゆうけむさん、おはようございます。Today's English. And 横順さん、ご挨拶ありがとうございます。Today's English といえば、明日はまた日本語でやります。今は11時57分で、もう眠いんで、テンポよくやっていきたいと思います。すいませんで、まだ始めたばっかりで、なかなかうまくいかないことも多いと。どうでしょうか ?YouTube の方もね、一人いらっしゃって、皆さんね、ありがとうございます。毎日結婚について考えております。So I think about the marriage system every day. In order to, yeah, what I want to do is I like to come up with like option B. So option A is love marriage, right? That's great option. That's great option, but it's not for every single person, right? So that's why I want to like suggest option B next to the option A, love marriage. So to think about option B, I every day I research and think about the marriage system. Me, my ENG さん、sorry, I'm not sure how to read your ID. キモンさん、おはようございます。Today is English day, but 明日また日本語でやるので、よかったら覗きに来てください。So actually, before he published this book, the author published the article version, so small article version in the 2014 New York Times article. So if you Google his name, Eli J. Finkel, All or Nothing Marriage, New York Times. Actually, we can find out this opinion article, which is titled "The All or Nothing Marriage," so which share the same title with this book in 2014 on New York Times, February. So, if you quickly want to understand the author's statement, this article is helpful as well. But yeah, anyway, when he published this article on New York Times, uh, yeah, some scholars and journalists argued that his analysis was more sophisticated than necessary. So, and in in a single words, there was a kind of bit of backlash towards this article, right? So, yeah, quite a few scholars opposed to his article. Hmm. The backlash, right word? Backlash. Hmm. Backlash is accountable. はい、福岡さん、おはようございます。ゆきえさんもおはようございます。今日は英語の日で、明日また日本語でやるんで、よかったら見に来てください。YouTube もやってるんで、今同時にやってます。YouTube ライブとインスタライブやっております。YouTube ライブも、できれば iOS デバイスでやれるようになりたいので、登録者数、90人ぐらいしかいませんけど、1000になったらね、iOS デバイスから YouTube ライブもできるようになるので、もしよかったら YouTube ライブ登録していただけると大変嬉しいという次第になっております。Anyway, so the majority of scholars states that the changes in marriage over time result in entirely from socioeconomic forces. So socioeconomic causes, socioeconomic forces and elements are the main cause of the changes in marriage, contemporary marriage changes. So that's what like majority scholars said. But what the author wanted to point out was like the author agrees there's some link, there's some connection between the wealth, wealth and marital happiness. So the author agrees with the author, yeah, says, oh yeah, there's actually some connection between wealth level, so how rich or poor the person is, and how happy the person is in his or her or their marriage. But what the author wants to say in this preface is, in this preface in this book is, this is like more like minor fact, but he wants to look at like okay, that's true, but also if we try to find, there are many rich people who are struggling to make their marriage success, and there are many poor people who easily are making their marriage success. So there are like rich and unhappy marriage and poor and happy marriages. So if we look at these facts, there is a connection between the wealth level and the marital happiness, but This is like a minor step. There's more. There's a like a bigger factor which causes, which determines the success or failure of the marriage. So that's what the author wants to say in this first preface. ゆかさん、おはようございます。Amy3U7 さん、おはようございます。Good morning or good night. Sorry, not good night, good evening. Hi, Agari. ひとみさん、おはようございます。Today is English day, tomorrow is Japanese day. So after I talk about this stuff on YouTube and Instagram Live, what I usually do is I go to Instagram and I invite someone randomly and I talk about this stuff together or we just say hi. 後半はいつもコラボレーション。So the latter part of my Instagram live is always some collaboration with some, yeah, some friendly random person. 福岡ワクワクプロジェクトさんおはようございます。いつもクラブハウスで教えていただきありがとうございます。こちらこそいつも来ていただきありがとうございます。ゆうこさん、Good morning. Good morning, ゆうこさん。How's your morning? はい、というわけで、それというわけじゃない。Today's English Day, sorry. So, yeah, so what? Let's quote this again. It is no accident that the rise in income and wealth inequality is linked to the increasing divergence in the marital well-being of wealthier and poorer Americans, but they are far from the whole story. So what they also says, the whole story is different. Let's quote this. This is a pro-marriage book, but doesn't mean it's a book for conservatives. It's a book that recognizes the value of lifestyle flexibility, but that doesn't mean it's a book for liberals. So this is like a finishing part of the preface. Let's read this together. We can all agree, I hope, that figuring out how to increase the proportion of marriages that are stable and fulfilling is a good thing. So yeah, that's like a core message or core purpose of this book. He wants to find out through book how to make any marriage stable and fulfilling regardless of they are rich or poor. So that's the core purpose and message of this book. He wants to figure out how we can make any marriage more stable and more fulfilling regardless of whether the couple is rich or poor. Okay, I think yeah, cool. So my impression is like, yeah, it's a good book. I'm not sure if I agree with this book, but it's yeah, it's something worth reading because many of the academic books on marriage are not usually, but as far as I know, many of them are opposed to the marriage system. So this is the rare academic book which supports the contemporary, which more like a praise today's marriage system. Well, that's like a very interesting like standpoint as an academic. Yeah, praises. So yeah, he praises the contemporary marriage system. So that's kind of rare as an academic book on the marriage system. So that's my impression. So I will keep reading this, but not in very detail. Maybe in a, like a nice, middle tempo. Sorry. Okay, let's wrap up the YouTube live. Let's stop the YouTube live and let's go into the Instagram live to find someone to talk with in detail. Detail. Okay. This is like a YouTube live and Instagram live detail. I talk about the marriage system, but also like sub purpose of this talk is to improve my English speech, actually English speaking skills. Cool. So let's end YouTube stream. Thanks, YouTube. See you tomorrow. Maybe I should have turned off these lights. Sorry about that. I'll do this next time because sometimes my face is too white, sometimes my face is too dark. Anyway, let's end stream. See you YouTube. Thanks. Bye bye. はい。